Okay, so Callum Bates, thoughts on Trent Alexander-Arnold swap for Lovren? To be honest, I don't like it. The reason isn't because I really like Trent Alexander-Arnold. The reason is, apart from maybe Van Dijk and Robertson, I'm not seeing anyone in that side that feels nailed on. Yes, Lovren's come in. They're still getting clean sheets. I still think Matip and Gomez are challenging for that position. If Trent comes back in at right back, Gomez has looked so good that potentially he deserves to be playing next to Van Dijk. So for me, a swap to Lovren isn't a secure swap. It's almost like you're taking a risk on another player that isn't exactly nailed on. Don't get me wrong, he seems nailed on, but there's just part of me, a niggling part of me, that thinks Lovren might not be nailed on. For me, Robertson and Van Dijk are the easy way, the safe way into that Liverpool defence. So that's what I'd suggest. Anything other than that, I think is a little bit of a punt. Just to kind of put my nail in, or put down my mast, plant my flag, whatever, because I see a lot of questions about the Liverpool defence. I think Robertson or Van Dijk is the way to go. If you want certainty of play time, they look like the two options that are the most certain to play. So I would have to look at one of those two. If you're looking elsewhere, it's a punt. Gomez looks like he's favoured by Klopp right now, and he's looked very, very good. I, as a manager, if I was ever a manager, would not drop Gomez. Out of all those players, other than Robertson and Van Dijk, Gomez would be the next one on my team sheet. So if you're asking me if I had to guess which one, I would go for Gomez. But that doesn't mean that's how Klopp is thinking. So please don't take that as me saying, yes, definitely don't worry about it. It's going to be Klopp. Gomez. Ashok Pritam Singh. Interesting question, because I did want to touch on this at some point. A lot of people looking at transferring out Alonso, and then another segment of the community saying, let's be fair to him, he did very well at the beginning, and then a dry period, and everyone wants to get rid of him. Now, the thing is, he's the most expensive defender in the game, and people are getting a bit of an itchy finger wanting to transfer him out with their mouse, because you want your most expensive defender to be returning some points, ideally. However, if you look at the grand scheme of things, and you don't just look at him being the most expensive defender, and you look at him as far as the amount of budget he takes up in your side, you're most likely going to have at least one striker more expensive than him. Probably got 2-3 midfielders more expensive than him as well. And if he's outperforming any of them, then I'd say you keep Alonso for now. Alonso, of course, is not by any means way behind the pack as far as points scored. He scored the most points of any defender. The only one that maybe would have scored more if he hadn't had the injury or been put on the naughty step or whatever happened was probably Mendy. So for me, the only person I would consider transferring out Alonso for is probably Benjamin Mendy. And I just feel season long he might be good enough value that he is worth putting into your side. That could not be the case, but I just feel like if there's anyone in this game that you could have instead of Alonso, it would be Mendy. But you've got to remember, when Alonso does do bits and you don't own him, it's going to hurt your rank, because as far as I'm aware, he is the most owned defender in the game by a significant amount, 45.9. Then it's Trippier at 34.2. Mendy only 16.1 at the moment, so he's going to do really well for you if he does get points, because that's going to be a bit of a differential for a defender of his calibre. I think Mendy is probably the only person I'd consider transferring out. Would I do it for a hit? Probably not, because I don't think you need to be taking hits from a player like Alonso to a player like Mendy, because I think they're both good and they've both got a good chance of having a good game week.